Hi everyone, and welcome back to V's Budgets. For the returning subscribers, then welcome back, and if you're new to the channel, then hi. My name is V and I'm a single mum of one trying to live her best life on a budget. Well, it's been a hot minute. Thanks to all those of you that actually checked in on me. It has been a few months since I uploaded my last video. I think it was September time. So I guess it bodes well to ask, where have you been? I have actually been here. I have not really been on YouTube though. I have continued to budget, which is great news. However, things started to go wrong towards September time last year, and my instinct straight away was to close in and safeguard my finances and the way that I felt, and therefore I felt that I couldn't put my situation out there. And in fact, you could argue that that was probably the best time to get myself out there, because that's when really you can sort of share growth during people's struggles. But I didn't do that. So apologies, but I am back. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to keep up with a two videos a week upload like before, but I do intend to continue to upload. So I thought, what better way than to get back into the swing of things than to share with you everything that happened over the last 4 months, and most importantly, my budget for February. Now, this is likely going to be quite a long video, so apologies. Pause me, go and get yourself a cup of tea. I got myself one, but it is the 27th of January, and instead of going through things on paper, and I'll explain in my video later on why I'm not, I am actually going to share my spreadsheet, because that's how I budget now, and I feel like, yeah, that's how I should be sharing things, at least for the time being, just to paint the picture of where I am. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So I'm actually recording this quite late at night. I kind of forgot how to do this, and normally I'd have like papers and things on my desk to run through, but I think there's so much to talk about and to update everyone on in regards to my situation that I just thought, you know what? I work on spreadsheets. That is where I actually physically budget. So I think it would just be easier to explain things as I go through my February budget. So a few things happened. In October, if those of you that followed me last year would remember, I started a little bit to feel like I needed to invest in my fitness journey. And I was talking about getting a Peloton, which I actually did. I did get a Peloton um, in at the end of September. I think it ended up in the beginning of October in the end. Um, and that was a second-hand bike, but it was an investment, and I did dip into my savings to finance that. Now, what happened very shortly after is that things started to break around me. First, it was my cooker, then it was my oven, then it was my washing machine, and finally my car. Now, those of you that know about my car situation or knew about my car situation, I spent so much money trying to fix up my little Seat that I had bought like third hand. It was a 2012 Reg, and I loved her. Her name's Phoebe, but Phoebe ended up having a lot of issues towards the end of the year, and it got to the point where to fix her, it just wasn't worth it. However, here was my issue. I still hadn't finished paying for Phoebe. And if you guys would remember, I used to pay about £68 a month as a finance for the car, which I had planned to run into the ground and therefore finish paying without much of a concern. But all of a sudden, I found myself with a car that I couldn't drive, that was going to cost about £3,000 to fix, that was only worth about £3,000. Um, and fixing it and selling it would have not given me any money back. So I decided to essentially sell it to one of those like scrappage places, and they gave me about £1,000 for the car. But the problem is that I still had about £1,800 left on the finance, which meant that I was £800 out of pocket. And obviously, because I had bought the Peloton for about actually, it was £750. I found myself entering into debt and not having a car, and not only being in debt to finish paying the loan, but I didn't have enough money. I say I didn't have enough money. I'll explain what I mean. So, if you guys would remember, I have £10,000 that are my safety blanket. They are my 3 months expenses. I have £1,000 emergency fund. Now, to pay off the loan, I had got into the emergency fund, um, pretty much the full £1,000, because by the time I also ended up fixing the oven and the washing machine and the cooker, etc., like that emergency fund was depleted. So I would have had to go into my 3 months expenses, which, if you know me, is a big no-no. That is like the untouchable money. That is like the money that I managed to save up that will never be touched unless I genuinely like lose my job, sort of thing. So I didn't have any money to finance a new car purchase. And I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Um, I was extremely lucky and I am extremely blessed that my uncle actually stepped in and decided to help me. And the way that we did this is that essentially he gave me some money and he loaned me some money. So I'm just going to take you and you'll see some new things here, which I'll get into, don't worry. So you will see here, this is a loan tracker. Now, basically, oh, that should say 120. Basically, this happened. I managed to get the car actually in December, and the car was about £14,000. I got a little Mazda 2018 reg, so a much newer car, very reliable, very low mileage. And basically, by him giving me and lending me some money, I was able to invest in a car that I know is, touch wood, probably not going to have the same issues, because I'm a little bit scarred, to be honest, on the amount of money that I had to spend to try and fix my old car. So anyway, he basically gave me £14,000, and then we decided that he would essentially write off like kind of like the vast majority of it as a gift, and that I would have to pay back £7,750. Now, the original idea was that he would give me money for the deposit and that I would then get a loan. Um, but obviously, with the interest rates and everything, he just felt that I would have had to basically end up paying nearly 2 grand more just on interest by the end of a 5 year period. So what we did is basically I am paying him back. So every year I am paying him back £1,550, and that means that every month I basically need to put in £130. Now, we agreed that I would start paying him in January. I mean, I say paying him, basically what I do is I put the money in a pot and then I would give him the money at the end of the year, because there's no point in me transferring the money every month. But I've started this month. It was £120 for this month. As you can see, the January is 120, and then it's 130 for the rest. And as you can see here, I've got year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Now, do I want to pay this loan back earlier? Yes, of course. But is there pressure to pay it back earlier? No. And even he said, look, you know, it's not urgent for you to pay it back. Just do it so that basically in a way that you can afford it. So that is what essentially we are doing, and that is what happened with the car. And obviously that was quite a relief for me, because it enabled me not to go into debt as such. I do have an existing loan with him, but it's not really with a loan company, which is a lot better for me. So that's the story of the car. So what that means is that over the last sort of like couple of months, I've been able to bring back my sort of 3 months expenses at £9,000 because it's £3,000 per month. I've built my emergency fund back up to £1,000, and obviously my salary is 3,587. So let's just go through February, and then I'll just talk you through some of the other things that have obviously happened and what some of the other changes have been. So first things first, we have my mortgage. My mortgage is £829.49. I am panicking slightly because I am due to come to the end of my fixed rate in August. And obviously, with everything that is going on, I am bracing myself for what a potential increase might be. But I feel like there's no point me worrying at the moment. I'm going to get in touch with my mortgage broker in the next few weeks to try and see whether we can lock something down before it potentially increases again. Um, I will have options in terms of like what I can do. And worst case scenario, look, I will struggle a little bit over the next couple of years in order to, pay for my house. At the end of the day, I'm in a very good position that I don't have to pay rent. I live in a three-bedroom house with my child on our own. And if I was to rent something similar, it would be probably like £1,600 a month. So no matter what, I will make it work. But yeah, so that's my mortgage. The monthly transfers for the month of February and in general should be about 1,940. And I will show you what that is in just a second. I have £100 going onto my savings account, 15.99 on Netflix, Thames Water's 27. I will always put £50 a month on Clara's savings account. My life insurance is 52.32. I've changed the pet insurance to Waggle because it was cheaper, and it's 23.23 per month. I pay 2.49 a month on Apple storage, £4 a month for my cat, Vince, flea treatment that comes straight to my door. Sky is my internet and it's £30. The car loan, as I've just explained, £130. Octopus is 113. I will say I am still in credit at the moment on the account because of the overpayments that I made from May last year. I'll also be honest, I don't know how long it will be before that credit will run out and this will need to increase, but for the moment it's okay. I'm also taking part in those Octopus saving sort of like hours where they contact you and they basically say to cut down as much electricity and gas as possible for a short amount of time. Generally, it's an hour to an hour and a half, and then they reward you with points that you can then transfer into credit. I had a session last week for 1 hour and I got about £3 credit, basically, or £3 worth of points that I can then turn into credit for that 1 hour. I didn't really use the electricity. And what we did is we just lit up a few candles in the living room. I had charged Clara's tablet, so she watched their tablet. I did keep my internet on. That's pretty much the only thing I kept on. And I just sat there on my phone and watched TikTok, and it was fine. I got £3 for it. And then the next day, they did an hour and a half, and we also took part. So I'm just waiting to see what that translates to. But it's better than nothing. At the moment, I'm tracking on about £9 to £10 a day, depending on how cold it is, between my electricity and gas, which is outrageous, but it's okay-ish for the moment. So we'll see what happens. Council tax is £123. Santander account fee is £2, and all of my bills come out of that account, and I get cash back on that, which is about £8 a month. So yeah, it's like just over £90 a year, which it's fantastic. So yeah. TV license is 1337. Childcare. Now, these are sort of my calculations. Let's ignore that. But essentially, what happens is so Clara goes to after school club, and here I have calculated based on the sessions that she has, how much she will take me, will cost me for the year. So, for example, we are on spring one in terms of like the term that she's in, which is 11 sessions for the term. Based on the rate for that after school club, it costs £181.50 for the term. But because I pay via the childcare account, I get a £36 discount, and therefore I need to put 145 into the childcare account. I kind of track it separately rather than here, but it's here to remind me to transfer the money into the account if I know that it's a month where a bill is due. So yeah, I'll explain underneath how much I actually put into the pot for childcare. My phone bill is £10. My cleaner, again, this is to remind me to take the cash out, but I list down below how much I actually pay her. I always keep a £30 buffer into the account, £40, which is actually £39 really, for my Peloton membership, and then Disney £50. Now, that is something new. So, kids don't know, but just before Christmas, myself and my partner decided to look into taking the children to Disneyland. Now, I have a little girl, Clara, who is turning 5 in March, and my partner has got a little boy who's turning 6 in March, that he had with a previous in a previous relationship. But we've been together for a long time, and yeah, we just wanted to see whether it felt like this was the right time to take the kids to Disney, and we just wanted to see, what we could do. So we looked into it and we realized that this year was not really going to work for us to do it, but we were super keen to take them next year in for February, a half term. So what we did, we booked it, and the total package was £1,341.39. We paid just under £200 deposit, which left £1,141.70. We are probably going to then get the Channel Tunnel or the ferry, so we're budgeting about £150 for that. We're budgeting about £100 for petrol because actually from Calais to Paris is only like 3 hours, so it's not really going to take like a full tank. So anyway, £100, and then we want to take about £300 spending money, which means that we need to budget £1,691 and 70. And what I did here is basically I listed all the months because we do need to have it all paid by December. And I made sure that I split it between the Disney balance, which basically is £95 a month, and then the extras, which is the ferry, the petrol, and the spending money, which comes to about £550. And basically, we know that we need to be putting in per month about £141.16. So in January, we've already paid 115. I've still got some money coming into this because technically the last week of the month of January for me is still to come. So I've still got money coming into this. But the idea is that we would have about that much. Actually, we do have January and February to get some of the spending money, which is why it doesn't necessarily maybe come to 140 every month. We will have money after December, but it was just to make sure that at least the Disney balance, right? So the Disney balance 95, we basically have to have £100 per month anyway. So, and these are the payments that we're going to be making. So we've got 6 payments that we need to make, or up to 6 payments. So basically, we're going to be paying £200 every couple of months. So we just need to make sure really that we've got that money there and ready for the December final payment. So in order to do that, I take out the £50 as part of like my planned bills, and then for the spending money, I just carve money out of my weekly and sort of end up putting in like £5 here and £10 there, etc., to build up the spending money pot. So that's what the bills are. Um, I've explained school fees calculations, and I'm going to move us down here. Now, this is quite similar to what I did have in the past. These are my sinking funds. So in sinking funds, I have annual payments, which are calculated at about £600 per year, which works out at about £50 per month. And these over here are my annual payments. Now, I have got Disney Plus. I have got my garden bin, my alarm ring protection plan, Beauty Pie membership, Amazon Prime membership, travel insurance, Dobby's, which is the garden center. We actually spend quite a lot of time in the garden center, and it's only £12 a year, but you get like 2 free drinks a month, so it kind of pays for itself. And then you get discounts and stuff, so we pay for that. So I've included it. My boiler being serviced, and then Amazon Kids. Now, there's fair to say that I will probably not need to renew Disney Plus this year, because when you book with Disneyland Paris, you get a free 12-month Disney Plus. So currently I pay for Disney Plus until April, but my partner has signed up with the new Disney Plus. So essentially we'll get about 9 months free. And then we will have to renew that account when the time will come next January. So I'm still putting £50 a month because you never know, prices change, etc. But that's basically the annual payments. Home insurance and emergency is around 360. It does renew in April, and it is around that amount anyway. So I haven't increased it. Car insurance, as I said, I do have a new car. It is newer, it is more powerful. So my car insurance has actually gone up quite substantially to £700. It's okay. It's not like the end of the world, but yeah, it is more expensive. However, my car maintenance fund should actually be less. I have maintained it at 1,200, which is where I had it before. My service is 470, my MOT is 55, and my tax is 165 a year, which takes it to, oh my God, that's real quick maths, about 600, so let's say £700. So I wanted to make sure that I had an extra £500 still, at least for the first year, even though I have paid for warranty for the next 5 years. Is it 5 years? 3 years. 3 years, sorry, not 5 years. So I've extended the warranty as much as I could. But, you still have to buy tires, you still need to get the car cleaned, you still need to like get light bulbs and, blades or whatever, like windscreen blades. So I'm going to save that money. And then if in year 2, which will be in 2024, if I feel like I still have quite a bit of money left in the pot, then I might not put as much. But to be honest, I kind of want to build it up anyway, because you just never know what goes wrong with a car. And to have that safety net is super important for me, because I need to be mobile. I have a child and I just can't afford to be without a car or having to rely on a family member again. It just wouldn't be fair. Clara activity is 480 a year, works out at £40 a month. And to be fair, it is not. Clara started ballet this month. She used to do swimming, which used to work out at £40 a month. Now it doesn't. And also her daddy is helping me with ballet, and we share the expense. However, you just never know. I just think if she needs new ballet shoes or a new uniform or anything else, I just want to build that pot A little bit, but she's paid for the term until Easter break, and she just got all her new uniform and everything. So we're building for the next spring term. Clara party, which is not necessarily a party, is more for like her birthday, gets £25 a month. Gift gets £40 a month. That's for birthdays. Christmas is tracked separately, as you see here, and that gets £50 a month. Holiday. Now, holiday gets 2,100 a year, which works out at £175 per month. And we have actually booked our holiday. So in August, we're going to be taking the kids to Spain for a week in with TUI in an all-inclusive holiday. We only booked it again this month. It came to £2,993. We paid £974, and that was so basically that, well, to be honest, that's not actually true. We didn't. I paid 1,000. Sorry, let me work this out. Yeah. So here's what happened. With TUI, you can like reserve and pay later. However, like it just made no sense for us to do that. So what we did is because I didn't have like money on the credit card, well, I didn't, but bear with me. My credit card was paid off, right? I didn't have any debt. So go back here. Um, we ended up buying the holiday on my credit card. And then we each had £500 in our holiday pots. So that came to 1,000, which we paid off straight away, leaving us a balance of 1,993.13. We want to take about £200 spending money, and we're probably going to spend £50 on taxi to get to the airport. We've already paid for all the transfers on the other side, so it's just getting here because we're going to leave really early in the morning, but coming back, we're coming back in a decent time, so we'll just take the train back. No biggie. But essentially, we needed to get 3,243.13. So that was the beginning balance. We've paid that much, which leaves us with 2,243.13. Yes. That means that every month between now and July, we each pay £175. And as you will notice that the exact amount that we pay every month into our holiday pot. So essentially, rather than the money going into the holiday pot between now and July, it will just go straight on the credit card until in August we'll then just top up with about 70, £80 each, and that will be part of our spending money. So yeah. So basically that is how we're going to do it. And when I look at my credit card tracker, because I have done that, so yeah, so we've got 199,313 is my current balance on the credit card. £175 each is £350 a month. As you can see here, June is the last month where we pay the full balance. July we pay about 240, and then the remainder of that 175 will go back into the holiday pot to build for the spending money. I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure if it does, but basically that is why there's so much money on my credit card. It's actually okay. I didn't have to do it, but it's fine. Basically, by the time my remortgage come through, I should be done paying it. If I wanted to, guys, I could just take money from my like emergency fund and 3 months expense me from my 3 months in my emergency fund and just pay it off if it's going to affect my affordability with my lenders. But I don't think it will, because by the time I get to do it, there won't be actually that much left. It'll probably be about less than £1,000 on the credit card. So we'll see. And I'll have no loans as such. Um, so yeah, so that is the holiday. Medical, I put about £40 a month. The reason why I do that is because I've just managed to get some glasses. Yes, that's the other thing. I've been saying for like a year that I needed to get glasses. I managed to build a pot up enough. I got some new glasses, but I want to get some sunglasses with prescriptions, so I'm still stuffing it quite a bit, which is fine. Um, School, now that is basically what I was talking about here. So, with my childcare, I actually put away £190 a month, which seems excessive considering that I normally pay about a maximum of £158 per term. Summer two is the most expensive with 185. But, where does the rest of the money go, basically, right? And that is because this school fund has not only my childcare, but also is the fund for my little girl's school uniform, the 2 weeks of camp that she will have to do in the summer, because I just simply don't have enough holiday days to take. And then the £60 a month fees that I pay every year to her school, to help out with expenses that they have. So that is why I basically put away £190 a month. So it actually works out more expensive than 1,900. You'll see here that this is only divided by 10 rather than by 12 months, but that is because the 2 months, so the sort of July and August month, which should be like holiday months, I'm still going to put money in that, but rather than use it for school, we will use it for summer activities. So I know it's a little bit backwards and stuff, but that is essentially how I have planned it out. Then we've got Vinny, who's my cat. He does obviously get all his yearly checkups and stuff like that still. He actually, that's the other thing, in December, I had a big pot for Vinny that I'd been building up, which was also like I was putting £50 a month in there because I wanted to pay for a scale and polish. Um, and yeah, basically he managed to have that, but that was one other thing that I had to save up for because I wanted to make sure that he had it. Now he's had it done, he probably won't need it for quite a few years. So yeah, now I just basically save up for the insurance success that I kind of want to build, and then his yearly checkup. And then we've got two new funds. Number one is tech/electrical. I'm not really sure what the right name for this will be, but basically, because everything just broke around me, my washing machine, my oven, my cooker, and everything, and like I feel like my fridge is potentially on its way out, my TV is quite old. Like I thought to myself, it was like, look, let's just start putting some money away if the Hoover breaks or anything like that. Like these things are like big ticket items that is expensive to just, come up with the money with. Like I would have to go into my emergency fund. And although you could argue that some of this is sort of like emergency fund territory, I was just like, let me just put some money away. It's only £600 a year. Hopefully, nothing will happen in the next 12 months. But if it does, and I do need to like dip into this, then at least I would have some money there, right? So I thought that was a good thing to start. And then the biggest bit was my home. Now, this is not for cushions and drapes and, things like that. This is actually to be able to do work to my home. I have been wanting to do quite a few things around the house and that are not like necessarily furnishing, they're like structural. Like I need to have my bathroom downstairs redone. I need to change the windows in my bathroom upstairs. I need to get the garden sorted. I need to basically have a bamboo plant in the garden that is basically going through my neighbor's garden now that I need to have dug up. Like big things that I need happening in the home. And this month, February, is the first month that we're actually going to be stuffing that for. So it's huge for me. I'm really happy with it. Obviously, depending on how my mortgage renewal goes and whether or not I'll have the funds to maintain this, but at least it's a start. It's really something that I want to be doing. So the first things that I'm going to be saving towards is going to be to have work on the garden done. I'm hoping to have enough to have it done around April, May before it gets, too busy and too hot. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we go. I have no idea how much a gardener or whoever it is that will need to come in will charge me. Literally no idea. But I thought if I have about £500 or so, hopefully at least that should get me started for like a day's work or a day and a half's work. Who knows? So that is my plan for the sinking funds. And then something that you would notice, well, you might not notice because it kind of looks similar, but my spending. So if you remember, I might put this on screen or I might not, but I used to have, and this is the biggest change for me, you guys, I used to have loads of pots, loads of spending pots. And this is the pots that I used to have. I used to have spending money. I used to have date night. I used to have my cat's weekly food, beauty, family time, home, which was furnishings and pillows and all of that. Clara, who was my daughter, used to have a miscellaneous pot, a clothes pot, a fuel pot, a groceries pot, a household pot, cleaner pot, and a transport pot for my trains into work. Here's the thing. One of the reasons why the end of last year also was felt quite overwhelming for me is because I always felt like I didn't have any money. And I actually did. But because I was restricting myself into putting money into individual pots every week, it felt like I had all these pots with okay balances, but it was never big enough to satisfy the urge to sort of like buy something. Like if I wanted to go to Primark, for example, or and get something for my little girl, maybe she only had £30 in her envelope, which was 3 weeks worth of stuffing. But it didn't get me very far in getting her things. Maybe I could get her like something to wear and a pair of shoes, but it wasn't really what she needed. So what I've started doing is I have started basically just as a guide, use this to plan. But essentially what that means is that I have then £210 per week, okay, to go towards my spending. And an extra £130 a month that goes into the pots. One is for fuel, because really I don't use the car enough to spend more than £50, and £80 for the cleaner. That's based on a 4 week month. If it's 5 weeks, then that will be higher, but that based on a 4 week month. So that means that in total, I have £840 for the month that gets split £210 per week plus this. And this is how I do. So I start, for example, week one. Let's take week one of February. I'll always put £5 in Vinny's pot because some pots I still use, right? I will put £5 in there just because then if he does need food, because you know how cat food can be expensive, right? He doesn't use his litter anymore because he have a kitty door, so he doesn't use the litter. So it's just the food and like the biscuits and stuff. So £5 a week is plenty. Beauty, I will always put in a pot because my nails have been getting done regardless of the amount of debt. That is the one thing I won't give up. Transport is my trains into London. I go twice a week. It works out around 14.10 per trip. And obviously I round it to 15. So that will go into a pot so that I don't touch it. Savings, and that's my penny challenge. It's not there because into a specific pot, it's just to calculate how much I've got left. And I'll show you that in just a second. And then I already know that for next week, I have ordered a HelloFresh box, which is going to be about £13, £30 82. I split it with my partner, so it's £15 41 each. Now, all of these expenses will come to £73 21, which means that if you subtract that to the 210, it will leave me with £136 79. Now, once I've done this bit, that £136 79 will stay in my Monzo account, not in a pot, in my actual Monzo account. So I will then go shopping the first day of the week, and whatever I have left is my spending money. If I want to spend £100 in Zara, I will. If I want to spend £100 towards my little girl, I will. If I want to spend £100 on cushions, I will. But by not splitting it to individual sort of like pots, it allows me to not feel so restricted about the way that I spend. So you will see that I have basically done a similar thing for all of the 4 weeks in the month. Recurring will be Vinny Beauty Transport and the Penny Challenge, which is just there to help me see how much I've got left, but obviously it comes out daily. Um, and the only reason why I put an extra one is because I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be Valentine's Day that week. We might have a takeaway purely because we have it's the kids' half term and we have the kids. So we'll probably make them dinner. And then I thought, well, why don't we just treat ourselves? Like we can't go out for dinner, but like let's just have a takeout. So I've already planned to basically spend about £25 on a takeaway for Valentine's Day. And that still leaves me with £141.30. So I hope this is making sense. But yeah, this is working really well for me at the moment. I don't want to say too loud because there will be changes that come towards the end of the year that I know will affect this. I think my mortgage is going to substantially increase, and if that's the case, then savings will have to be made across the board. But something new that I mentioned is that I am doing the penny challenge. So with Monzo, you can actually automate sort of like a daily action whereby it will take money from your account and put it into a different pot. So what I've done is I've basically written down, calculated everything, and you can see it's 300 and down the bottom, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. So 365 days in a year, right? So the maximum amount that I will be getting out of that account on any given day is £3.65. The total of the penny saving challenge is £667.95. And what I've done is I've calculated it, then I grouped it by week, right? So essentially, I've gone, okay, week one is going to be 36p. Week two is 84p. Week three, 133, until you get to week 52. And then the maximum amount per week is £25.34. So then when I go and plan my weekly budget, I can then put how much per week is going to go into my savings so that I make sure that is counted and I don't find myself spending the money that I have allocated for that penny challenge. I also do roundups, but that is separate. And I do have a roundup pot. So because I basically purely use my Monzo card now, I haven't touched my normal current account for expenses because I'm able to spend more freely using that card. It works really well. I mean, it was zeroed at the beginning of January, and just over the last 4 weeks, I've already got like £7 just purely on Roundup, which is really cool. I mean, if every month I can round up, £7, £8, it can easily add up to £100 a year just on a roundup challenge. And obviously, for us digital stuffers, it's a great thing to do because we don't have physical change that we can put in a jar, right? So it's actually a really pretty cool exercise to be doing. So I feel like I've kind of gotten you guys up to speed. I have actually planned the next few months already because that's how I like to work. I kind of put down the basis of sort of like the next sort of 6 months at a time, but then I will revisit, right? So obviously I've perfected my February budget not that long ago. So I've showed you the penny challenge. I've showed you my Disney tracker. I've showed you my Spain holiday tracker, which is essentially my credit card. I have showed you my car loan tracking, and I've got a little tab here called gift where I have started to write down ideas for gifts for birthdays and Christmas for my partners and family and so on, which I won't be showing you because sometimes they watch these videos, so I don't want to give it away. But this is where we are, guys. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really know whether I will come back to YouTube full time as I was before. Um, and I don't know if I will come back in paper form. Um, I feel like me doing it in paper form, it basically became a huge chore, right? Because I had to take everything that was written here and put it in paper just to kind of fall in line with what the expectations of what I thought my audience had. And I kind of have realized over the last few months that I'm actually doing this for me in the nicest possible way. The budgeting community has been is lovely. I've had some lovely people checking in on me and making sure I was okay over the last few months, which I did not expect. So thank you for all those of you that have reached out to check in. I am fine, as you can see. Um, but I don't really want to be falling back into some sort of stereotype in regards to what the budgeting community should be or should behave. This is what works for me. This is my budget. I work on spreadsheets. I am a planner. I do it for a living, and this is what works for me. I cannot waste time writing things down or highlighting them or things like that when I can just do it so much quicker in the way that works for me. That's not taken away to the fact that I am a sucker for a lovely cash stuffing, and most of the people that I follow are actual cash stuffers and not digital stuffers. And if I may say so myself, there's not enough of us at the moment out there.
So this is it, guys. Thank you so much for bearing with me today and for listening to me ramble for probably about quarter of an hour. Really appreciate the support, as I said. I will be uploading my sinking funds video in the next coming days, as I said. And yes, until next time, bye.